Welcome to the Aging Adventure, brought to you by Legacy Retirement Communities. I'm Dale Johnson. Every Saturday morning, Kathy Blythe, longtime champion for seniors in Lincoln, and John Kopetsky with Legacy Terrace at 5700 Fremont Streets bring you conversations with a few of the many senior living experts at Legacy on matters that are important to you if you are on the path to retirement living. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Dale.
Today on the Aging Adventure, signs that it might be time to look at moving to senior living with Renee Pickerel, Executive Director of Legacy Arbors. Also today, Kyle Yates, Retirement Living Advisor, joining Kathy and John this morning to talk about the value of change. But first, coming out of the pandemic a few pounds heavier than when you went in, Katie Johnson is here, Wellness Director at Legacy.
Katie, good morning. How are we doing today?
I'm great, John. Thanks. How are you?
Doing okay. You know, Katie, over the years, we've heard of the freshman 15. When you go away to college, you put on 15 pounds. I think a lot of us in the past year have experienced the COVID-19, some weight gain during the COVID pandemic. Is that something you're seeing in a lot of places?
Unfortunately, we are. We also hear it referred to as the COVID curves. People have some COVID curves that they have that they didn't have before. So, it's kind of as when you're a freshman going to college, it's a big life change and you go through lots of different adjustments. The past year has been a big change for all of us too. And some of us put on some weight, some of us took off some weight, but yeah, it's something that we're hearing quite often right now.
Would you say more people have experienced this than have not?
Well, from a lot of the studies, it looks like about 42% of Americans at least have gained weight. Some people, the choices they made and the kind of the lifestyle they lived for the last year caused some weight gain. On the other hand, there were some positive things and people made some positive choices and changes and had the reverse effect.
You know, Katie, I would suspect the way to get rid of the COVID-19 is through the old standby of diet and exercise. Is weight loss different for persons maybe above age 60 than it is for folks who are younger?
It is. As we age, our metabolism naturally slows down. And that is due to a lot of different factors. A, age. 2, our muscle mass tends to decrease as we get older, so we burn less calories naturally. Also, we're a little bit more sedentary, so we don't have the movement like we do during the regular day. So as we age, we just need to keep that body moving, and it takes a little bit more effort than it did when we were young and spry and 25 and we could burn calories real quickly.
Katie, give us your best tips to get back into a healthy routine if we've gotten out of the healthy routine.
Absolutely. So the first thing here, especially with this year, is give yourself a little grace. This has been a year that nobody's experienced before. So if you have had some weight gain, don't beat yourself up about it. Kind of change your mindset. Just think, okay, I'm going to restart. This is the perfect time to try something new. I'm going to have a new routine, those types of things. So first of all, just kind of working with your mindset there. Second one would be looking at your setup in your house specifically. If you work from home now and you happen to be working from the kitchen or your office is near the kitchen, rethink of how you have things set up so it's not as easy to go in and munch on things during the morning. Also, try to go back to healthy meal planning and healthy cooking at home. During the pandemic, a lot of us tried to help out small business owners by takeout food, and may not have been the healthiest food, but at the time it worked and we were supporting somebody. So now it's time to kind of get back into that fresh eating, eating from home, doing those types of things. And the last thing I would suggest is the biggest thing is just move your body. Do something you enjoy. And I think that's the biggest thing people forget is starting an exercise plan is, I do not like to run. So for me to tell myself, okay, tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up at 5:30 and I'm going to go run 3 miles. That may last 2 days because I really don't like it. So pick something that you enjoy doing and it'll help you stay in the long run. And the other great thing right now is that if you're a techie or an online person, there are a ton of fitness apps, different things like that you can log on to and just try lots of different things and see if there are new things that you like and find something that you can do just to keep yourself going.
One of my favorite legacy mantras is it's never too late to start, and you are certainly helping people do that every single day, Katie.
Yeah, thank you. It's one of those where when people move in, I think they have the mindset that exercise is more for vanity reasons. Maybe that's how they grew up, or I exercise so I can fit into my clothes. And really it's changing that mindset that keeping active and staying strong is going to improve quality of life. And so just thinking of how to make your daily activities easier. And that's what we really try to focus on is just staying independent and staying active and useful. Yeah.
Katie, thank you. That's very good advice. Coming up on the Aging Adventure, how to bring up the topic of retirement living to your loved ones. Stay with us. More coming up. Welcome back to the Aging Adventure. I'm Dale Johnson, joined by John and Kathy. Talking with a loved one about retirement living doesn't have to be an awkward conversation. This morning, John and Kathy bring it up with Renee Pickerel, Executive Director of Legacy Arbors.
Good morning to you, Renee. Can you give us some of the significant signs that it might be time to look into senior living as an option?
Sure. Good morning. Well, there are some obvious red flags. You get the call, mom's fallen, she's broken her hip, now she has to go to the hospital, go through rehab, can't live in a home anymore. Those are some of the obvious reasons. There really is no one clear signs. However, there's lots of little clues along the way that can help alert you when maybe it's time to make changes for living arrangements. Some of those might be you get the call, mom's dizzy, she doesn't feel good, you go to her home, you find all of her medications in her little pill minder she's not taking her medications correctly, or you're having frequent visits to the ER. Depression, no socialization. Her day consists of maybe sitting at home in front of the TV. Agitation, crying, frustration, restlessness. Frequent falls. You're finding that mom is falling a lot more often. Home safety issues. Where is the laundry? A lot of times in older houses, where's the laundry room? Down in the basement. Or their bedroom is upstairs, and it's very hard for them to get up and down those stairs anymore. Difficulty just doing what we call activities of daily living. Maybe that is dressing. Are they still brushing their teeth, doing those grooming? They can't bathe anymore, things like that. Also noticeable weight loss and difficulty handling their financial affairs. Those are just kind of all clues that maybe it is time to look at other options.
Renee, as an adult child of a senior, you might see those and you might think, yes, the time has come to make the move. But what happens when your mom is resistant to that move?
Oh, nobody's resistant, John. They all want to. Joking. Nobody wants to move from their home. Heck, the other day, a good friend of mine said, because I had some surgery on my ankle, she said, well, Renee, maybe you really should think about going into a ranch style home. And I'm like, hold on here. I don't want to move from my home. I mean, so I just kind of thought this is probably how people feel. The conversation, I will tell you, is a hard one because nobody wants to talk to their parent about possibly moving from their home. But heck, we're all getting older, right? Even ourselves. And it can seem like a difficult conversation. It can seem like those days when you had to talk to your kids about the birds and the bees, right? So first we need to put the idea in the head and kind of plant the seed, take a gentle approach. Mention maybe some options. Make sure that they're feeling heard, respected, and valued. Offer to go on a tour with them. A lot of times folks haven't even been in a senior living community since maybe the old days of what long-term care facilities look like. They don't even know. They don't know the social aspects of it. Don't push it. Let them be in control and just remain patient and try and let it be their idea.
Those are difficult situations and difficult conversations indeed, but those are some good guideposts for us, Renee. And we don't have time to get into great detail on the power of attorney, so we can do that in another show, but let's touch on it a bit today too.
Just real quick, it's very, very important to have a power of attorney. A power of attorney is someone that legally can make healthcare and financial decisions for you. And if you don't have that in place, I've seen it turn out really bad because there's nobody to make that choice for you or those decisions legally. So it is a really good idea to have that in place.
Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't done so already, get that done sooner rather than later, because we may not have the luxury of making a decision. We may need to have that put in place right away as something comes up.
Yes, and it's no matter what age you are, whether you're 20 or whether you're 70, we never know what tomorrow will bring.
And once you make that first call or that first meeting, we're all in a little bit of denial or a lot of denial about our mortality, but it really is not as bad of a process as you think it is, and it feels so good once you have it done.
Yeah, and it's all about living and how you live the rest of your life. A lot of these folks are at home by themselves.
Thanks for the wonderful information. Very valuable. Thanks, Renee.
You're welcome.
When life changes, sometimes our values change too. That's next on The Aging Adventure, brought to you by Legacy Retirement Communities. Good morning. I'm Dale Johnson on The Aging Adventure with Kathy and John. Our conversation turns to value changes that might occur when life changes happen. The Legacy Senior Retirement expert on that subject is Kyle Yates, Retirement Living Advisor.
What we value at various stages in our life is really in a constant state of flux. When you're young and single, what you value is maybe different. It better be different than when you have children in the house and things like that. So as we go through life, what we value certainly does change, doesn't it?
You said it right, John. I think one of the things that remains constant in life, it's like the old adage says, the only thing that stays the same in life is that everything changes. And I think you hit the nail on the head with the idea of when you see the change in your life, inevitably your values are going to change as well. As these life changes happen, it can be difficult. It can be hard to look at these life changes and realize that our values are different. Maybe they weren't what they used to be. Maybe some of them are. But I think taking the time to acknowledge that our values are going to change, and that's okay to see our values change. It's a sign of growth at any stage in life. I'm reminded of when I was single and didn't have children, kind of like you were talking about, John. Boy, were my values different than they are now when I have children, in a good way, but they're very different.
And do you find, Kyle, when you are counseling people who are either already in senior living or they are considering that, change is a very scary thing, and that affects every aspect of our life, including taking a hard look at our values. But that is something that comes up a lot, isn't it? People are just afraid of change. It just is innate in our being to be so.
Oh, I think so, Kathy. I don't know too many people who look at change and completely just embrace it. Change is hard, and that's okay. Through change is a time of growth. And, I look at it as when I was a kid, I think one of the scariest moments that I ever went through was standing on top of the high dive. And I remember just looking down at the water, and my friends are looking at me, and the lifeguard is looking at me, and I have to jump off this diving board into the water, and I'm scared. And I just jump. And the feeling that came after I jumped, the feeling in the water of knowing that it was all okay, that it was safe, I was protected again by this water. And now I want to get back up on the diving board, and I want to do it again. I use that analogy with the change in life, because when you're going to change things, it can seem scary. It can seem like you're standing at the top of that high dive, waiting to jump. A lot of times when we make the leap, when we look at what our values are in the water there, and we jump towards those values and we're comforted by them, it's only then that we realize that we've made the right decision. And it's hard. It's not an easy thing to go through change. Having a good support system, finding out what your values are and what's important to you, and letting that be your motivator, be your driving force, is the key, in my opinion.
Kyle, it doesn't mean that everything that we value or every way that we try to live our life has to change. You can, if you're an outgoing person when you're younger, you can still have that value of interacting with people as you get older. It just maybe how you live that out might change due to your circumstances in life.
Absolutely, John. Absolutely. I think certain values are lifelong values. There's going to be some values in life that when you're a child to when you're an adult are going to be something that are just part of your growing process. I think keeping those values close to your heart and giving them the attention and the time is so important. It's not enough to just find your values and identify what they are, but it takes time to engage those values. Some of those are lifelong processes. Some of those change as we age, as we grow, as we enter different chapters in our lives.
Having been at the communities, all of the 4 communities, and visited with a lot of the residents there over many, many years, the one thing I've heard more than any other from them is, I wish I would have done it sooner. They changed and they adapted to change and they embraced it.
As a retirement living advisor, those are some of the words that I hear that motivate me to help people realize what their values are, to fulfill those values, to engage those values. I hear that a lot, Kathy, and I think, kind of like John was talking about, it's because there's some of those lifelong values, kinship, friendship, engagement with other people, that some people eventually in life kind of put to the background, and instead of making it one of their true values that they engage.
So how does one, real briefly here, what's the first step someone can take to assessing their values and then looking at their current life situation and see if there's a change needed?
Great question, John. I think that if you're going to engage your values, it's such a unique, personal thing. It really is not a one-size-fits-all situation. Your values are your values. Identifying your values is something that you have to look inward for. And once you found those values, giving them the time that they need to grow and cultivate. So I think it's a personal process, John.
Thank you, Kyle. Compassionate, caring professionals make up the legacy, and you met a few of them today. Katie Johnson on wellness, Renee Pickerel on talking with a loved one about retirement living, and Kyle Yates on recognizing and adjusting to life's changes. Well done this morning, Kathy and John. John, how can someone, our listeners, get some more information about the legacy?
You can call us at 402-436-3000. You can email us your questions at legacyretirement.com or visit our website, legacyretirement.com.
And Kathy, your love of the legacy comes through every week, so thank you for being with us. Every Saturday morning, we talk about enriching your retirement years with the good folks at Legacy Retirement Communities. This is Dale Johnson. Join us next Saturday for the Aging Adventure.